Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me and happy Monday. It's Monday. Sorry I missed last week. I was lazy. I'll be honest. I was lazy. I had loads to do. Me and James had meetings and I was like, I can't get it done. I could have, but I would have really had to try. And sometimes trying can lead to death. Talking about death. Today's way of dying. I was thinking about my looks and how I come up with a way to die and then I do them and how poorly executed it's done. And then I was thinking, what else has poorly executed themes? The Met Gala, that seems to be happening every single month. So today's theme is, I was online and I kept seeing Met Gala pictures everywhere. And just when I thought it was over, it started again. So I died from too much Met Gala. So the theme today is Met Gala, death, shine, shimmer, diamonds. I don't have any diamonds, so we won't be using diamonds, but glossy, no, not glossy even. Shimmer. So if you're watching this video first time on Monday, you're like, what the hell is going on? Why is he talking about dying at a Met Gala? And why has he got fake candles in the back? Mondays are where I do a makeup look based on a way to die, and I read my subscribers' ghost stories that they send in to me here. I get a lot of messages and comments saying they don't know how to send me their ghost story. It's this. Don't send it to me on Instagram. Don't leave it in the comments below. It's right here. I say it in every video. It's right here. This is the email address, and it's also in the description box below, so you can copy and paste it into your thing. So I don't know where the confusion is, but you can send it to this email address on the screen right here. You can send me video, audio of yourself speaking, or maybe you captured something on your Ring doorbell. You can send it right back to that email address. And should we just get onto it today? Into it today? Yes. Okay, let's do it. So our first story is called Ghost in the Picture. It says, hey Robert, been loving yours and James's videos lately. Really love that you're doing this ghost and makeup thing. Just what my spooky heart needs. All my life, I've been surrounded by the paranormal. In elementary school, I had a notebook full of ghost stuff and witch stuff. I loved all of that growing up. My mum would tell me stories of weird paranormal things that had happened to her, like hearing someone who had recently passed away say her name when no one was around, or having a dream of a house she'd never seen before, and then weeks later coming across the same house. It wasn't until we moved into our first townhome that things had started to get really scary. The place we lived in before moving in was probably one of the dumpiest apartments we had ever lived in. Our balcony overlooked a disgusting outdoor pool and two other apartment buildings off the complex. The halls were always dirty and old-looking. It had an eerie feeling to it, to say the least. So we were really excited when the opportunity came to move into something really nice and spacious. However, as time went on, I started to get weird feelings while I was there in the new house. I started to get eerie feelings upstairs. I would sit on my bed, drawing or something, and I could see out of the landing to the stairs outside my bedroom. It felt like somebody was always there watching me. One thing I vividly remember when I lived there, I would sleep in my mum's bed sometimes when I would get scared. I had my back facing the outside of the bed and something jabbed me in the back with a single finger. I eventually started to stay up all night, sometimes due to the fear, as my mum worked a night shift at the time. One night, I was sitting at the computer desk in her room, and I started to get a creepy feeling. I went and grabbed my cat to make me feel better. However, my cat would not let me hold her. She wiggled until she got away and left the room. A few seconds after that, a rush of air flew through the room. I know it was real because I remember a sticky note taped on the cupboard of the desk started to flap about. I screamed and I sat there in horror, unable to move. In my mum's room, there was a walk-in closet that I despised because I felt like that's where the entity liked to stay, and that is where the rush of air went. As I was sitting at the desk, still in shock, I saw a solid white figure walk out of a bathroom, in the hallway, and down the stairs. I nearly lost it. After seeing that, I tried to call a few of my best friends to help calm myself down, but none of them answered as it was fairly late. I knew I had to move. I couldn't just sit there, but I was frozen in absolute horror. That was probably the most profound experience I have ever had to this day. Other things continued to happen. Because I didn't have a full-length mirror, I would always take my old Kodak camera and sit on top of our TV in the living room and set it up for a timer to see what I looked like that day in full. One time when I did this, there was a huge black mass on one side of the picture. I couldn't believe it as it had never happened before. It was like the things you see in movies. Another time I was in my room across the hall from a bathroom, just sitting on my bed and getting ready for the day. I started to hear this faint buzzing sound. I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. I followed it to the drawer in the bathroom to find an electric shaver. It had been turned on and was buzzing in the closed drawer. No one was home, and I hadn't heard the noise earlier. I remember telling the spirit off and giving it less attention over the years, living there, and it did start to dissipate. I had some of the worst experiences there and some of the best, if I'm honest. I don't usually look back in detail at this time, especially that night described, because it was really bad. Much worse than I care to remember. I still get weird feelings, even in our new townhouse. Also in my room sometimes, particularly my walk-in closet. I wonder why. Thank you so much for that story. Yeah, there's something about, I think, closets and wardrobes that just have a scary vibe. Like whether you feel like your house is haunted or not, especially at nighttime. Like I wouldn't even face if I had, well, I can't see my closet from my bed, but like for me, like if I can see the wardrobe or closet from a bed, I will have my back to it. I hate looking at them because it's that kind of door where you could be like, you know, just sleeping at night and you hear like a creak open and just see someone's head like poke around the corner. Thank you so much for your story. I very much appreciate you sending it in. We have an audio story next, and this is called Skinwalker.
Hi, Robert. My name's Megan. I've become obsessed with your ghost story videos, and I've been binging them the past couple of days. I absolutely love them. Oddly enough, I don't really wear much makeup because I never learned, really, and I'm not good at it. But you're so talented. I adore you, and I love watching your videos. So I have a story that I would like to share with you. It's a short one. It's only a couple minutes long, but I wrote everything down so that I'm not umming 87 times and stumbling over my words. So my story is about the time that I saw a skinwalker with my own eyes. I'd like to mention first that I'm not a religious or superstitious person. I also don't believe in the supernatural, and I can pretty much explain everything away, except for this story. I have no explanation for it. I grew up in a different kind of church as a child. The church didn't subscribe to any particular religion of its own. Pretty much it was an atheist hippie group that liked to get together once a week and participate in community services and call themselves a church, basically. So the focus of our youth group teachings was on inclusivity, learning about and understanding other cultures and religions. When I was about 13 or 14 years old, our youth group took a bus trip to the southwest area of the United States to learn more about Native American cultures. We were from Colorado. We ended up spending multiple nights staying on a native reservation in Arizona, attending classes with students our same age, ate with them, and stayed overnight in sleeping bags in their school gym. The native kids who we were paired up with and following for those couple days also stayed the nights in the school with us, so we became friends with them and got to know them very well. The girl I was paired up with was so nice, and she brought me home to her house to meet her mother. I don't remember her name now, and I really wish I had kept in touch with her. Anyways, one evening, a couple of us from our youth group, along with a couple of the local kids and a few adults from our church, went for a nighttime stroll outside. We were on a remote reservation in the desert, far away from any major city lights, so it was very dark outside, only lit by the moon. As we were walking along a dirt road, we kept hearing rustling and the sound of something walking beside us nearby. We couldn't see anything at first, but all of us heard it. Now keep in mind there were about 10 of us together and we all heard this. Personally, I thought it was an animal like a coyote or something. Eventually, we all saw the shadowy figure of a man walking in the brush alongside us. We saw the figure go behind a large desert bush, but it didn't come out on the other side. A couple of the kids walked around behind the bush to see who it was, thinking it was somebody else, one of the other kids playing a prank or something, but no one was there. The figure had disappeared. Well, we were all pretty freaked out by that, and the native kids we were with became very quiet and didn't say anything. We decided to go back to the school at that time. And once we were back in the gym and safe in our sleeping bags, we asked one of the girls what it was. She said it was a skinwalker, but she wouldn't give us any more information other than that. She became very quiet and wouldn't speak any more about it. Later on that evening, one of the adult chaperones said that a skinwalker is a ghost figure from their culture and it's not something that they talk about. So we let it go. And honestly, for me, I hadn't thought about it for many, many years. I'm now 40 years old and I live in Arizona. I have a good friend who is Navajo, and between asking her questions and my own research, I've learned that skinwalkers are shapeshifters, changing from human to animal, and they're considered evil spirits. I now understand why the local kids back then were scared and wouldn't talk about it. I never again witnessed anything supernatural, and like I said earlier, as an adult now, I can explain away pretty much anything with something logical, except for this experience. I can't explain how a figure of a human disappeared right in front of us. We all saw it. I think it just goes to show that no matter how much we believe in science and the physical world, there are still some things we don't know and can't understand. So that's my story. I hope you enjoyed it. Sending you much love from Arizona.
Thank you so much. That was incredible. Oh, goosebumps, shape shifting, all this. It just makes me feel really, really uneasy. As much as I would love to be a shapeshifter, but like a good kind, like Mystique from X-Men kind, you know? That is terrifying. Thank you so much for sending that in. Thank you so much for reading it so well and so nicely and writing it down before. I really, really appreciate it. Okay, we have another story, and this is called The Cowboy's Shadow. It says, "Hi Robert, I love watching your ghost story videos and thought maybe I should share my story. I've always been curious about the paranormal, ever since I was a kid, but never had an experience until I was 15. When I slept, I would always keep my door open, so the light from my hallway would come in. One night, I had woken up around 3 a.m, of course, which wasn't unusual, so I just laid in bed and tried to fall back to sleep. But out of the corner of my eye, I saw a shadow come out of my brother's room, which was right across the hall from me. At first, I didn't think anything of it because my mum would always come and check in on us at night. I leaned off the end of my bed to look through the mirror in our hallway to see if I could see her, but she was nowhere in sight. And about that time, I looked up to see the 6-foot-tall shadow with a man's build pass over my doorframe into my dark room. It had taken me a second to process what I had just seen. I had known for a while that there was a ghost of a cowboy out there, but I had never seen him with my own eyes. But I'm almost certain that was who came into my room. That was the first and last time seeing him, but the thought that he's still around sticks with me. Needless to say, I no longer sleep with my door open, and I always sleep with a lamp on. P.S. I'm also including the photo my mum took of a cowboy just for funsies. There's a picture? I don't know if I want to see this. Do I? Of course I do. Okay, let's take a look at this picture. Wow, okay. It's literally like a cowboy's head, like the hat. You can see the hat. I don't like that. It must be frustrating, right? Having like a ghost in your house. And just not, well, I guess it's not frustrating because you probably never want to see it, and not being able to quite ever see it, ever. You know what I mean? Okay, moving on to our next story. This is called The Gift. Hi, Robert. I hope you are well. I love your videos and the Double Cleanse podcast. Thank you so much. From a young age, I felt in tune with the supernatural. I grew up in a house built by my great-grandfather on my mother's side. Many family members have lived in that house over the years. One night, I was in bed, struggling to sleep, which was typical for me. Around the ages of 9 to 11, I used to have reoccurring nightmares of being surrounded by demons and evil spirits, leading to a fear of sleep. While I was lying in bed, I thought about all the family members that had previously lived in the house. I became emotional, thinking about all the people I had never met. For some reason, I thought of my great-great-grandmother in particular. Right then, a picture fell off my wall. I had decorated my room with my drawings, posters, and photographs of family and friends. I grew up in the South of the United States, so it could get humid in the house, making it hard for all the drawings, posters, and photographs to stay up. I got out of bed to pick up a fallen picture, using the light from the night lights in my room to guide my steps. I looked at the wall from where the picture fell, only to see a photograph of a woman I had never seen before. I called for my mum to come to my room. I felt a presence in the room with me now. Once my mum made it into my room, she turned the light on and asked what was wrong. I explained that a picture had fallen off the wall, exposing another one behind it. She looked and smiled. I asked her who the woman in the photo was, and she told me that it was my great-great-grandmother. I must have gone pale because my mum then asked if I was okay. I told her now I had been struggling to fall asleep and how my great-great-grandmother had crossed my mind. My great-great-grandmother must have sensed my thoughts and decided to let her presence be known to me. I'm vocal with my family about my experiences with the paranormal. My dad shared with me earlier this year that I seem to have a gift for spirits, as they call it on his side of the family. I'm named after his mother, my grandmother, who died less than a year before I was born. My dad told me that she also had this gift, and he is not surprised I do too. Cute. We love a family gift. So we are going to go ahead and look at some TikToks. Now, these always terrify me. If you have TikTok, even on Instagram, whatever, you can at me, Robert Welsh MUA on TikTok, Robert WLSH on Instagram, in any paranormal content. Nothing shit though. Nothing like really fake, you know? Oh no, I don't like the look of any of these. Okay, Paranormal Activity, parents' worst nightmare caught on baby cam. And I'm going to turn it down.
Hey, come here. It's okay, baby. It's okay. All right, come. Come around.
Can you imagine seeing that and then just seeing it and running? He seemed genuinely concerned. Like, he wasn't like, oh, come on, get out of here. There's a ghost. You know, like some of them are really fake. That seemed genuine, right? Poor child. Like, imagine just seeing, like, and like you're a kid, you're like, are chairs meant to do it? No, kids know how chairs works. Do they? Yeah, they know how chairs work. But still, imagine being like, okay, I'm pretty sure that chairs are not meant to be doing that. Oh, I love the front of his house. That's so cool. Maybe not that, like, creepy thing. When they want me to come out and play. Oh, that's kind of cute. That's my dream view, like a graveyard. As morbid as it is, I think it's kind of like a nice view. Not to be like, oh, I'm such a goth, but it's cute. That's nice. Sorry about Ring Doorbell. I never Ring Doorbell sets off my dogs, so apologies for that. Well, here we are. I think I need to turn the lights down so you can see it. Look, ooh. This is my I forgot what it was. This is it, whatever it was. Thank you so much for being here. Like I said, you can send your ghost stories right here to Met Gala, right here to this email address. Send it here to this email address. It's in the description box below. If you are watching this, that is how you get your stories to me. Thanks again, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye. Spooky boy.